Today we're going to start our intro to bonding note using the periodic table. So we're going to color the periodic table, then you're going to do some reading with questions, then you have some notes to copy down, and then some practice problems. So by the end of the lesson, I can identify elements as metals, nonmetals, or metalloids based on their location on the periodic table. I can compare and contrast the properties of ionic, metallic, network, and molecular covalent bonds and apply this understanding to predict the properties of a substance based on the bond type. So take a minute to color in your periodic table and also to add the key at the top here. So we have metals, metalloids in green, and then the nonmetals in pink. Don't forget hydrogen over here. So here we go with the reading. We have 4 questions on this slide. What is all matter made out of? What does it mean to be happy in terms of atoms? What happens to electrons during an ionic bond? And what 2 types of elements make ionic bonds? So the world around us is made up of tiny units of matter called atoms. How these atoms stick together to form substances is called a chemical bond. Why do atoms chemically bond? We use a concept called happy atoms. We figured that most atoms want to be happy. The idea behind happy atoms is that atomic shells like to be full, 8 valence electrons, so that 8 in the outer shell. Some atoms like to give up their electrons, some atoms like to gain, and some like to share electrons to have a full shell. There are 3 main types of chemical bonds: ionic, covalent, and metallic. So you should be able to answer questions 1, 2, and 3 at this time. Ionic bonds are formed between cations and anions when electrons are transferred from the cation to the anion. It occurs between metal and nonmetal. So that's important. That's something if you have your highlighter still out, that you'd want to highlight